Hello and welcome to Lesson 4, page 33. This is the song titled Somebody's Knocking in the Pre-Level 1 book. Today I'm actually starting off on page 30 if you want to match my screen. Otherwise, you're welcome to stay on the song on page 33. But I would like to use these pictures as a reference today because we are going to be learning two brand new notes today. You are graduating from just middle C, and we are going to be learning the notes D and E, which are the remaining two white keys under our group of two black keys. So let's first talk about our group of two black keys and find the first note C. Well, we've said it many times before, there's two more white keys underneath those group of two black keys. In the middle of the group of two black keys, there is a white key, and this key is D. See if you can find a D with me under a group of two black keys. Now, if we look on page 30 on my screen, we can see that the Mayron-Cole book does a great job of helping us remember the note D by saying, hey, these group of two black keys are like two black dog ears. And in the middle is our D for dog. And that helps us remember D is the white key that goes between our two black doggy ears. And I'm glad they already drew a picture because I'm not sure I'd be able to do as nice of a job of drawing a nice little dog there for D. So if you'd like to, maybe you can assign animal names to every key, and you can do whatever you would like. But if our first white key is a C, maybe this would be our cat. Now there's one more piano key that we need to learn, and it is the note E. So I'm going to scroll down and use our picture here. And if you have your Mayron-Cole book at home and you want to do the activity it says to color in the E key. You can certainly color that in. Notice that under the group of two black keys, the 1, 2, 3, third white key is the note E. See if you can play an E with me. Great job finding E. So to review, remember, under a group of two black keys, there's 1, 2, 3 white keys. And those notes are C, D, D's in the middle of the group of two black keys, and the last white key on the right is E. I am so excited to start using all three of these notes in your song, Somebody's Knocking, with you. Before we play the song, though, let me scroll on down. We have some important work to do, and that is going to be covering the notes with our fingers. We haven't really had to cover more than one note with our fingers so far in the Mayron-Cole book, but now's the time to do it because we are still practicing our reading, of course. And when we're reading music, well, it's pretty important to keep your eyes on the music. And you can still use one finger to play C, D, and E, but that can be pretty tricky to jump around keys and also keep your eyes on the music. Remember, if you're still comfortable using one finger right now, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to recommend that you use 3 fingers like this if you're making the number 3 and putting one finger on C, another finger on D, and one more finger on E. So I have C, D, and E. This might be the first time you're trying to use each finger individually to play our piano keys, and it can be really tricky, especially our ring finger over here trying to play by itself. Maybe you're pressing more than one note right now. That is okay. Take your time and practice. You can put 3 fingers on these keys and practice just trying to play one key at a time, very slowly. And remember, you might get some notes that are playing together as you learn to use your fingers one at a time. That's okay. Go nice and slow. So I'm going to play this song by covering all 3 keys with 3 fingers like I'm making the number 3. If it's really tough for you to use this hand position, there's a couple more options. We can do two hands to play the song with one finger on C in my left hand and two fingers on D and E. These are all what I like to call our strong fingers, so they can probably play the notes a little bit easier. So if this is easier for you, you're welcome to give that a try. And of course, you can switch that around with two fingers in the left hand on C and D and one finger on E. Okay? So let me review those hand positions again, and you can decide. You can still use your one finger if that's what's most comfy for you. You can cover C, D, and E with three fingers, and you can use right hand or left hand. Maybe you're lefty, that's okay. And you can use one finger in one hand, two in the other, or you can switch that around to cover C, D, and E. Great. So once you have chosen your hand position for the song, there's actually another step I want to talk about before we even start playing the song. And it's identifying our notes on the piano, or knowing which is which. We want to make sure that we don't count up to the notes. Maybe like how you would say the alphabet. That's kind of how I find a letter. Like if someone said to me, what is the third letter in the alphabet? I might have to go A, B, C. Oh, C is the third letter in the alphabet. Well, we don't want to do that when we're trying to find our notes on the piano. I don't want you to count up. So for example, if I said, where's an E on the piano? I don't want you to have to go C, D, E. Oh, there's the E. Because you remembered the order C, D, E. We just want to know every key for what it is. If I say play an E, just play the E, play a D, and we can jump around to any key we need, and we know what it is. Because if we have to count up to them, C, D, E, oh, there's E, and then play, that's a little bit too slow. So in order to learn this and to practice this, we're going to do an activity called 1, 2, me, then you. And that's when I say a note, and then you play and hold the note. So I might say, 1, 2, me, then you. Play a C. Now a D. Now an E. And I may jump around and say D, C, E. Okay? And this helps us to get used to finding the notes on their own without counting up to them, but also it helps us to get used to our hand position. Because when we're reading our music now, that you can see in Somebody's Knocking, we're not just playing middle C. Whenever we have our rhythms of walk notes and running notes, and there's even a whole note in this song, now we're going to be using either C, D, or E in our song. And remember, there's a picture in the top right corner of the song if you ever forget the notes and how to find them, little guide. So let's warm up before we play our song and practice our new hand position by doing 1, 2, me, then you. Then we'll work line by line through Somebody's Knocking. So again, I'm going to use 3 fingers in one hand to cover C, D, and E. And really slowly, we're going to do 1, 2, me, then you. You're going to play and hold the note once as I say it. Here we go. 1, 2, me, then you. Play a C. C. How about a D? Now an E. Let's go back to D. Now C. How about a D? Now E. Let's go back to C. Back to E. How about back to C again? Now let's play a D. Now another D. And finally, let's play a C. great work on finding the notes C, D, and E, and you can continue to play along with that activity. You can even shout out the notes yourself and find them on the piano. That is a great way to get familiar with the notes we need for a song before we play the song. Once you're feeling comfortable with C, D, and E, now let's move on to going line by line in our song. First, we're going to talk about the rhythms in Somebody's Knocking and clap them and make sure we're ready to go. Then we will add our notes. Now, in the first line, we only have walk notes and running notes. Remember, our walk notes sound like the word walk. Our running notes sound like the word running. And it's going to eventually have us play the note E and C in the first line. But again, let's just start by clapping through our rhythm. And when we practice, sometimes we like to break things into smaller pieces in order to practice. And that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to draw a line through these walk notes. And we're just going to work on this little first half here, which is walk, running, walk, walk. Let's get ready to clap that rhythm group together. Walk, running, walk, walk. Hands are ready to clap, nice and slow. 1, 2, clap with me. And walk, running, walk, walk. Excellent job. Now there's actually a pattern happening in this first line. If I by me breaking the line in half, we can see there's 2 sections, 1 and 2. And the second section is the same exact rhythm group. Walk, running, walk, walk. So let's clap it again. Walk, running, walk, walk, just so we can get really good at playing this rhythm group because it appears a lot in our song, Somebody's Knocking. Here we go. Walk, running, walk, walk. 1, 2. Clap with me. Clap. Walk. Running. Walk. Walk. Way to go. We have made some great progress on this first line, and now we're ready to try the first half of it using our first note. And it looks like we are going to be playing E. So let's get our hands in our hand position, and I'll demonstrate first. It's going to be walk, running, walk, walk. And we're just doing that first half on E. Hands ready. 1, 2. Here we go. And And now we're going to look at the second half of our first line. And we're going to play C, 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 C. Remember the exact same rhythm, but now we're playing C, not E. All right, second half of line 1, here we go. 1, 2, here we go. Play C, 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 C. Great work. We've completed line 1 of Somebody's Knocking, and it's time to try to put it all together. So all of line 1, we're going to be needing to play E in the first half and C in the second half. That's where our warm-up activity of jumping between notes is going to come in handy because we've already got a little bit of practice with it. Let's try it nice and slow. And remember, you can always break it into smaller sections if we need more practice. But let's get ready to try line number 1. Hands ready. 1, 2. First line, play, play. E, 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 C. C. Running. Walk. Walk. Excellent job. And now let's take a look at line number 2. Well, I've got good news. The pattern that we were using in line 1, walk, running, walk, walk, it happens again. And we're using the note E. So the first half of line 2 is exactly the same as the first half of line 1. Let's go ahead and practice just that first half of line 2, the first 4 beats. Using the note E, it's walk, running, walk, walk. Here we go, hands ready on our pianos to play the first half of line 2. 1, 2, here we go. Play E, 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 E. Nice job. And looking on the second half of line 2, we have our first whole note. And whole notes, remember, get 4 beats, and we hold them for 4. And it looks like we are going to be playing a D for 4 beats. Let's go ahead and practice that now. Remember, D is our second white key under the group of 2 black keys. It's the white key that runs through the group of 2 black keys. Let's try a D for 4. 1, 2, here we go. And D, 2, 3, 4, then off. Nice job. So before we put together line 2, let's go ahead and clap the rhythm together just so we're used to it. All together we have walk, running, walk, walk, and then we hold 2, 3, 4. Hands ready to clap line number 2. Then we're going to play it on our pianos. 1, 2. Here we go. Clap, walk, running, walk, walk, and hold 2, 3, 4. Okay, now let's get our hands ready to play line number 2 on the piano. We're using the notes E and D. 1, 2, line 2, play, play. E, 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 D, 2, 3, 4. Great work. Moving on to line number 3, it is the exact same as line 1. Our walk, running, walk, walk rhythm repeats twice, and we have E and C. Let's go ahead and play line 3 together on our pianos for the extra practice. Fingers ready on C, D, and E. Here we go. 1, 2, line 3, play, play. E, 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 C, 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 C. Great work. We're already ready for the last line of Somebody's Knocking. We have made so much progress today. So what I want you to notice is that line number 4 uses the same rhythm group as line 2. Walk, running, walk, walk, hold, 2, 3, 4. But the notes have changed. D, 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 E, D, C. Let's practice a little differently than we have the other lines, and this is something that I like to do when getting used to the notes in a musical phrase or in a line of music. And it's just to play the notes, but kind of out of time, meaning I'm not really focused on the rhythms quite yet. I just want my fingers to get used to the notes I need to play. Okay? So I'm going to say a note, and I just want you to play it when I say it. So the first note of the line is D. Let's play a D. Good. Let's play another D, because there's two more. And one more D. And now I know I need an E. Let's play an E. Great. Now we have to go back to D. And last, we would hold a C for 4 beats. Let's do that. Awesome. So again, we didn't really pay attention to the rhythms there, and we're just getting our fingers used to playing D, 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 E, D, C. But now let's put it in time at a steady beat. Hands ready for the fourth line. We're going to go nice and slow. 1, 2, last line, play, play. D, 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 E, D, C, 2, 3, 4. Congratulations on getting all the way through the song Somebody's Knocking. This is a big step in your piano and musical journey of now having all your basic rhythms mastered, and we're including more notes on the piano. So way to go. We're back to the beginning of the song now, line number 1, and we're going to try playing the whole song slowly, and then as always we'll do it once more at a little bit of a faster speed that you can always come back to once you're ready. Okay, line number 1, starting there, nice and slow. Let's get our fingers ready on C, D, and E. 1, 2, here we go. Play. E, 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 switch to C. C, 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 C. We're on line 2. E, 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 E. Now a D. D. 2, 3, 4. Line 3. E, 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 C, 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 C. Line 4. D, 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 E, D, C, 2, 3, 4, and off. Nice job on your first performance of Somebody's Knocking. Let's go back to the beginning. We're going to try it at a slightly faster speed. Remember, you can always come back to this in your practice once you're ready. 3 fingers, or whatever your hand position might be, on middle or C, D, and E. Maybe you're still using 1 finger. It's okay. Here we go. 1, 2, here we go. E, 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 C, 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 E, 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 D. 2, third line, play. E, 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 C, 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 D, 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 C, 2, 3, 4, and off. A big congratulations on completing your first CDE song in the Marin Cole book, and I will see you on the next song.